So how did you? So tell us, how did you make it to NIMS? How did you make it onto the White House task force?
Working through my career, you know, I've always taken anything I did very seriously, whether it was good or bad, and I always tried to perfect it. When you first get into the industry, it's like, for me, it's like buying that car for the first time. You don't care if it's the right car, if it's reliable. You just want to get a car, right? And then after
when you're 16,
when you're 16, right? And
you have that freedom to do anything you want.
Yes, and that's where I was when I came into the trade. But then as I started working in it, I'm thinking, I'm appreciative of this opportunity, but there are a lot of things that can be fixed here. And so over the years, I would perfect them. Even it didn't matter if I was getting paid, didn't matter if it was being recognized. It was something I had to do for myself. And so as I worked through the industry, you know, people started to recognize that, and I moved up. You know, I moved from a work-study student to an apprentice.
You were a leader in your organization.
Yeah, everywhere I went, it just always resulted in that. And then for every company I've went to, it was just a ladder for me. And even at NIMS, you know, I eventually became the executive director.
What did you know? What did you feel needed immediate change about our industry? Was it perception? Was it just the fact that we were laggers behind, you know, lagging behind? We weren't leading industry types, or what?
No, you know, it was not perception. You know, as the minute I saw the machines, I was drawn in. For me, it was more about, why are the companies awarding their employees, their machinists, for hoarding information? They were rewarding them for what they knew rather than what they know and what they can transfer to others. That was very bothersome for me because I wanted to learn, and everyone wanted to hoard all of their knowledge and skills. It's like toolbox notes. So how can you grow as a company if the person that's, you know, 60 plus years old, retiring soon, doesn't want to show the person that's 16 years old and trying to learn? That doesn't make any sense to me.
So what is the new NIMS doing differently than the old NIMS? And what do you want to tell the Metalworking Nation that's exciting about the new NIMS?
Well, you know, we have 7 principles when we are working with our customers on training. I'm not going to go over them all, but I think the first one is relevant to this conversation, and that is training from the end. Always train from the end, but the question is, what is the end? So I can give you like three different blocks to start with. Is it the job description? You know, what about the competency, or the being competent, or is it the performance? And so there are some flaws out there in our training if we're thinking that job descriptions, that's the end and that's what we should train towards. Even if you say competencies, and we're a competency-based credentialing organization, you're still wrong. It's performance.
And that's what we need.
It's all about
we
performance.
don't need, we don't, we talk about it all the time.
We don't need, I mean, resumes are nice, but a resume doesn't produce quality parts on time for our customers.
No. And it doesn't matter if you say, I've received X training, I received Y training. It's performance. You can take someone out of MIT. If they can't perform, it doesn't matter where you came from. Performance. Let's just say you go through someone's training program, whether it's online, whether you can say, hey, you know, we're teaching CNC, we're teaching you know, hands-on, we have all of this great training, and even they earned a NIMS credential at the end. How are you measuring their performance? Now, performance requires an individual to operate within the responsibilities of the job description and draw upon the competencies that are associated with the job description. So that requires doing an analysis to form judgment and make decisions, and using the competencies to satisfy the decisions that you've made. If you're just measuring whether they're competent, you haven't measured the job performance requirements. If you're training towards a job description, you're just still going towards the competencies. So job descriptions and competencies, they rarely close the gap alone. If you could have a great student, you could have a great learner. I considered myself a good learner back in my day because I always went above and beyond what was put in front of me. But that's rare as well. So if you're talking about the average person going through and you're training to these two, you believe that your job descriptions or your competencies are the end, you're going to typically have a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And so we help now, the new NIMS, what we're doing is we're showing individuals or companies how to measure performance. And here's the other piece. We're doing, I teach quantum physics as well. Or our solutions are emerge from the issues that the employers are having. And so we have to listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, you'll get employers saying competencies don't do anything for me. And it doesn't mean that, credentials. And it doesn't mean that they are wrong, and it doesn't mean they're right. Yes, it doesn't answer. I'm going to read this statement that I wrote. This is
beautiful.
My statement.
Go ahead.
Go
but
for
I want
it.
you, I
Say
want
it
to read
eloquently.
So, true performance validations goes beyond establishing well-defined job descriptions or competencies. Competencies are synonymous to credentials. Developing training around job descriptions and competencies rarely closes the gap between training and job requirements alone. This rarity is due to not having a reliable method to measure performance at all levels. It does not matter how well one trains if one cannot measure the desired performance. Performance measures, or PMs as we refer to, translate job descriptions and competencies into practical experiences that reflect what employees will face on the job. That is the key. Yep. And it's a combination of them all. It's a combination of the Titans training platform, and it's a combination of NIMS credentialing platform. And then the employer, here's that entanglement, defining what that performance is and then measuring it.